As we all know, video games based off superheroes can be very hit and miss, more so of the latter. Then there is one series of games that redefined what a superhero game could be, the Batman Arkham series, single-handedly making us all take notice and applaud the respective creative team from Rocksteady Games. What they've done with the Batman franchise is create a game starting way back with Arkham Asylum that was so intense, moody, dark, creepy and eerily awesome, and made you feel like Batman. They did it again in even a bigger way with Arkham City, and a more open world type of approach while still retaining what made Arkham Asylum so enjoyable. Now here we have the follow-up in a prequel called Arkham Origins. In this third installment, we are 2 years into the Batman's career as the Caped Crusader, and he has yet to meet some of his most feared villains. Due to the emergence of the Bat, we become witness to the criminal Black Mask announcing $50 million of bounty to anyone who can take care of the Dark Knight. Black Mask enlists 8 assassins to do the job.
Killers, the best in the business. Black Mask isn't messing around.
Being a younger and inexperienced crime fighter, this tale shows us a more aggressive Batman who doesn't seem to know what he's in for, which is great. We're so used to seeing our Batman being able to handle anything, like he knows what's going to happen before anyone else does, so this is a refreshing trip. Even though this is meant to be a less experienced Batman, you still start out with the majority of skills you had from the previous games. And the upgrades you can get are more or less expansions on those weapons, which I felt was a missed opportunity to try out different gadgets that a less refined Batman would use.
Things have changed. We're starting with a clean slate, and you're not on it.
Combat is still just as solid and fluid as ever, and the famous countering system is very responsive. Even the animations in the way Batman slides from foe to foe seems to be more polished. You'll find the same type of enemies, so you still use the same tactics as the other 2 games. Why fix what ain't broke, I say, but fighting a large group is always a blast, and there seems to be more instances where I've found myself fighting more at one time than the previous 2 games. So far the boss fights haven't been quite as involved or puzzle-like as we've been accustomed to, but they're still a challenge. Like the first fight with Deadpool can be a little frustrating and more of a quick time event fight, although they do vary and can become quite tough, as you'll find yourself taking on the likes of Killer Croc and Bane, whilst being surrounded by other criminals at the same time. Getting around Arkham City is just as fun as it was in the previous game. You still use your grapple hook to fling around buildings and glide around and kick people, etc, etc. But now you can call down the power of the Batwing. This was used as your quick travel option, and it's quite useful. When you're not fighting the worst of Gotham, you can retreat for a breather in the Batcave. It is always something to behold, entering the famous lair of the Bat. It's also great to see how they seemingly scaled it down, showing how raw this early cave is compared to what it will become in Arkham Asylum. Alfred will still chime in to give somewhat parental advice, and there is even one part where the 2 have a disagreement in the Batcave, and later whilst returning to Gotham, Alfred attempts to apologise over the communicator, but Bruce stops him reassuringly. They've really made great effort here to add early depth to the characters. I won't spoil anything for you, but there are some moments when the Clown Prince is mentioned, and that gave me chills. The foreshadowing of what's to come between the famous battle between the Joker and the Batman. Further on, they even delve more into the Joker's origins as well. It is called Arkham Origins after all.
No such thing as a Batman, man.
One new addition to this game, which I love, which they didn't really do too much in the previous 2, was actual detective type stuff. This game is great. Like, I've found some instances so far where you have to come across a crime scene and decipher it and dissect it and use your cowl and its sensors to map out what actually happened, and you get to replay the scenario in like a virtual reality type deal. and you slowly put together the pieces of what happened, and it's great. I really enjoy it. It just gives that more detective feel to Batman, which is supposed to be the world's greatest detective after all, and now we finally get to do some detective work. So it's great. I won't spoil all of it for you, just you'll find out in the game if you play it. It's great. All in all, with a new team handling this game, Warner Brothers Games Montreal, after Rocksteady giving their stamp of approval, they've done a bang-up job sticking with the prestige. This series represents my definitive version of Batman to this day. They really nailed it for me. I love the tone, the feel, how eerie and frightening Gotham is. Who would live there, really? The villains are all threatening and by no means laughable. In saying that, I can't help but feel something is missing with Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill not voicing the Bat and Joker respectively in this outing. But who they did get, amazingly, they really nailed it. So you get over it pretty quick. It was great. I've enjoyed every outing in this Arkhamverse thus far, and I look forward to more installments of what I consider to be the definitive Batman. If you can't tell, I strongly recommend you play this series if you haven't already. I give it 4 out of 5 Bat Chunts. Also, check out my video for the unboxing for one of the collector's editions of this game, and please like and subscribe, leave a comment on what you think of this series and what your favourite version of Batman is. Happy Batmaning!